Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you're probably a little surprised by the background here. I've been kicked out of my room. Well, not literally kicked out of my room. My mother has been discharged from the hospital into my care at the hospital hotel. So she's in my room and I can't be doing this in the hotel room with her there because she needs to rest. So I came out to a lounge and that's where we are. We're in a lounge. And so if you are new to the channel, if you're new to this series, let me tell you what's going on. I'm doing an in-depth dive into a very particular and amazing deck called the Tarot of the Holy Light by Christine Payne-Towler. And this deck is very different from what many of us are accustomed to, one of the Golden Dawn-based decks, such as the Smith-Waite deck, the RWS, or the Harris-Crowley deck, the Thoth. Now, this deck that I'm examining and I'm exploring and I'm living with for this month, and maybe a little bit longer, is based on what the creator, Christine Payne-Towler, calls the Continental Tarot system. Actually, it's not only her, other people call it the same thing. The Continental Tarot system, which is closer to Tarot de Marseille, the Teia decks, etc. So, what do? I pull one card in the morning, and I look at it, and I acknowledge the meanings that come up for me when I see that card. The meanings and the references that I have stored in my head based on the Rider-Waite-Smith, the Smith-Waite decks, especially. Also the Harris-Crowley deck as well. I studied the Thoth for a while too. So I acknowledge those thoughts, those impressions, those ideas, and I try to disentangle those from the card that I am encountering that day, knowing that they are different. There are some parallel ideas, certainly, but there are also differences, and I want to encounter the card from the Tarot of the Holy Light as it is. So I look at the card, try to detangle my thoughts from the card, and to see it as it is. And then I use one of my very trusted, very comfortable decks, the Lightseer's Tarot, to help me unpack that card. What I do is I pull a 3-card spread. The first card is the significance of the daily draw card. The second is the obstacle. The third is the advice. So significance, obstacle, advice, very common 3-card spread. And then I sit with that during the day and I live my life during the day. And at the end of the day, I pull out my handy dandy guidebook for the Tarot of the Holy Light and I look at the meanings of the card as intended by the creator of the deck. And I again reflect on the day and how those meanings revealed themselves or did not reveal themselves to me during the day. So that's what I did. And today's card has been, I believe, drawn before. It is the beautiful Queen of Wands. I love this card. What do we see in this card? Well, first we see at the bottom that this is the card of Aries. Now, Aries is a cardinal fire sign. Now, cardinal, it's got the aim, it's got the pointing towards things, and we see not only the queen, but we see this bird of prey, and this bird of prey has got something in its sights. Can you see that? This bird of prey is fixated on something and is about to launch into action, it looks like to me. And you see the light radiating behind that bird. I love this Queen of Wands. I love this pot of flames. Look how beautiful those flames are. I love that we see the hints of sunflowers here on her throne. I love the wand here being a flame at the top, like a torch. This Queen of Wands reminds me a lot, perhaps because I'm from the United States, of the Statue of Liberty. Instead of a book, however, she's holding a black, perhaps bunch of like a whip, maybe a black whip or a black broom or black straw, I don't know. But this whole image reminds me of the Statue of Liberty in many ways. You see the torch here, that gesture of holding something, the color of her gown, All of that. And look at these pink slippers on her feet. Those are just amazing. I also love the wings behind her. The wings give her that kind of goddess, kind of Nike feel too as well. Anywho, so this card came up for me upright. And for the first time, I noticed there's water back there. Do you see the water in the background? Now, not many Queens of Wands, I think, have water behind them. So there's that emotional content that's still there, even though it's a very strong fire card. So, pulled that card, thought things that I think of are passion, the feminine passion. I think of feminine passion also able to nurture the passion of those around her. I think of confidence and independence, the independence to act as one sees fit, as one desires even. I also see sexual activity in this card as well. When I think of the Rider-Waite-Smith or the Smith-Waite decks, those are the things that come to mind. And so I pulled my 3 cards from the Light Seers Tarot, and let me show you those cards right now. These were wonderful cards, I think, to pull. They helped me hone in on the day, I think. So you saw in order that the cards were the 10 of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. So, significance of the Queen of Wands for me was the 10 of Cups. Interesting, yeah, remember, I had not seen the water back there before, but seeing that water now, and then the 10 of Cups gives that extra bit of alignment, a little extra bit of connection. The 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups, yeah, we got the rainbow above a family. This is the family love card for me. It's the joy and happiness. It's the card of having enough emotional, enough emotional stock, enough emotional power, enough emotional currency to be able to feed or to give some and support the emotions of others with it. Like the 10 of Pentacles, we think of legacy, we think of home, of wealth, of inheritance, but we can also think of having enough money to be able to then support those around us, support the family. So this is that for the emotional side of things. Having enough joy and enough love to be able to support, emotionally support those around us. Yeah, so the significance of this Queen of Wands, this passionate, this fire, this cardinal fire sign, is directed into the area of family, which makes sense, doesn't it? For me, especially, because I'm doing the family thing right now with my mother having been in the hospital, requiring care, and my being not in charge of, but co-creator of that recuperation. So what was the shadow card, right? The shadow card was the King of Pentacles. And the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this card is, okay, so the King of Pentacles for me is usually not only wealth and comfort and security, but also somebody who's able to work with a diversity of people. With diverse people, with many different people. They can work just as well with other CEOs as they can with the people on the floor of a factory. Now, as well as they can work with people out in the selling in the world, as well as they can do with the people growing things in the fields or mining things from the earth. They can work with all these different kinds of people successfully, well, and manage them and put them together in a cohesive whole, a functioning organism. In shadow, so I was thinking that, well, perhaps that means that the potential is there for my not being able to put these people together to work towards one common goal, that I would not have that, or I might have some financial troubles. The response or the advice card is Queen of Cups, which is interesting, right? We had the Queen of Wands, and the advice was to be Queen of Water, Queen of Cups. So what I got from that was, okay, so there's this potential shadow side of the King of Pentacles, and the way to smooth that over is to be the Queen of Cups, be the empath, be the compassionate one, feel the feelings of others, understand the feelings of others, and connect emotionally with those around me. And that would ease the way past, perhaps, whatever shadow aspect this was bringing up for me today. So I lived my day. And now, let me tell you what the card means as thought of, as created by Christine Payne-Towler. Here we go. So, the Queen of Wands is a natural leader, an accomplishment-oriented type whose gift to create teams and assign tasks, whose gift it is to create teams and assign tasks, things that I often think of with this card in the Rider-Waite-Smith system. She sees to it that the collective labors run smoothly, that all phases of the operation are on task and performing to expectations. She is as comfortable running a nunnery as the farm, the production floor as the sales operation, which are all things that are also resonating with me for the King of Pentacles in an upright version, whatever. Forcing her workers to keep pace. She keeps her workers working hard. Now that's a little different from the King of Pentacles for me. Yeah, she gets her workers to do as much as they possibly can. When upright, she is the best kind of supervisor to have, much like a challenging but encouraging mother, believing that you have it in you to do your best work under her direction. She can also play and party just as hard as she works. So she's this disciplinarian mother. She gets you to study, but she can also party well with the guys in the truck stop if she wants to. But a darker side of this, even in the upright position, is that she can sometimes see the people around her as tools for the achievement of the larger goal. She sometimes could be a little bit manipulative or think of people not as fully functioning people, but as tools to manage, to get what she wants done. Yeah? She is willing to make the hard choices, including deciding who lives and who dies. That's pretty harsh, but she's that clear and that decisive, and the goal is the thing. Yeah, she's not the emotionally supportive one. Frankly, the Queen of Wands is not big on emotions or empathy. She finds them impractical. They get in the way of taking care of business, like I was just saying. Because she is willing to put herself through whatever she is asking of others, her castle staff and family will follow her unquestioningly, secure in the knowledge that she is watching their backs. Yeah, she's not only the one saying, you do it, you do it, you do it. She gets in there and works with everybody else. She's not above getting her hands, feet, and skirts dirty, doing the work with the people she wants to work with her. At her best, the Queen is inspiring to men and women alike because her avid intelligence and love of a challenge are infectious. Nobody can get the best of her in sport, and she won't be taken advantage of in love either. So, she's the master of everything and everybody. So, that was what was a potential for me. And you can see that there is a lot of potential darkness in this card, even in the upright draw. So, the nice thing is that this is related to family, to nurturing and succoring and healing family, probably my mother. Let me tell you what happened today. So I went to the hospital thinking today would be just like any other, and it wasn't. not that there was a problem, but I got to the hospital and they said, we're going to discharge her today. I was like, what the heck? What are you talking about? So they wanted to discharge her into my care at the hospital hotel, which is why she's in my room right now, which is something I had not planned on. I had been expecting, and what they had told me would happen was she would stay at the hospital until Wednesday. The nurse would come and get me, then both of us would go and get my mother and I and the nurse, the traveling nurse, would all get on a plane and fly back to California. Now, what's happened was my mother was moved into my room, and so the nurse will come and gather us here, and we'll fly off to California. But that means that I'm now in the position of not going to visit my mother and watch over in the hospital and come back to have some private space at night. I'm with her 24 hours a day, which is not a bad thing, but could be a little bit draining on me. But, so, I wasn't in charge of organizing all of that, but I was in a position to oversee the emotional content or how my mother was interacting with all of these people as we got her together, her stuff together. I got the information from the hospital that I needed so that I could turn it into the insurance people. I tried to close up as much of the stuff that needed to be closed up at the hospital as we were so quickly being not rushed out, but it kind of felt like being rushed out of the hospital into the hotel. And I can understand them because they want bed space. I can totally understand that. And so we got here. The trip over was traumatic for my mom. Yeah, she knew before getting into the ambulance what we were doing, but getting the gurney into the ambulance was so disorienting from her. She lost her understanding of what was going on, and she started, I think, panicking a little bit. And so I held her hand. We got her to the hotel. The good thing about dementia is that she's probably forgotten most of that. I remember it all, but she's forgotten all of that. It was just a 5 to 10 minute ride. It wasn't that bad, but she was disoriented and confused, and the didn't understand why she was being jostled about so much in an ambulance, and why she was in an ambulance, and where she was going. Was she going into another hospital? What's happening? Where was she? So we got her here into the room. I got her settled. We got dinner, and I'm arranging her medications, and I'm arranging how I'm going to organize getting the medications into her, and how am I going to manage her desire for things that she should not want or should not have, like chocolate. All of that stuff. That is me today. And then also emails from the insurance people, emails from the people who are going to be transporting my mother from here to the plane to her home or the hospital in the United States. And then emails from the people who are supposed to be taking care of all of this with us. There's a lot of other communication going on. And a lot of pieces that want to be fit together. And while I'm not the one to actually be in charge of it all, I felt like I was the one to be fitting the pieces and getting the information out and bringing the information back in and all of that. Then there's also my mother's financial care person who is on the ship and is still trying to support us from there. We were on a cruise, if you didn't know. So, what I think can you see how that reflects this? Not the way I understood it before the day, but from the guidebook, yeah? Getting people together and getting down into the task of managing my mother. I'm in there, and I'm also expecting other people to rise up to the level of care and management that I am trying to provide as well. You can see how that fits with this, right? I hope so. So what was this? I don't think I read this correctly at the beginning of the day. This was not the potential of my not being able to communicate with people, but perhaps another dark side of the King of Pentacles is the need to control everything. The need to be the boss, the need to be the one in charge, the need to be the one who knows, who does everything, who controls the work. And if I had gone full into that, to want to control my mother, control all the other people, that would have posed a barrier to accomplishing the tasks that needed to be happening today. And so this card of, okay, so the thing is empathy, to flow the emotion like this. Now, the significance and the advice are beautifully linked. And so I think I was able to remember this enough of the day so that I didn't fully fall into the trap of being controlling. Not controlling like the King of Wands would be or the King of Swords might be, but controlling of the stuff and the work. Controlling of the work. I think I was able to avoid that. So, I think the day progressed nicely. And I appreciate this card even more, I believe. And I loved the card from the first time I drew this, and I still love the card. And I have a deeper appreciation for it as well. Now, I'd love to express the party side of that card, but that's not in the cards for me today, but maybe sometime in the future. So, friends, what do you think? Does that make sense to you? Can you see the way my disjointed brain has put all of this together? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. And friends, if you are still here, hit the thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you and perhaps other people might be interested in this, and it will draw more eyes to the channel. And hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos. I upload one a day now, but when I get back to work in Korea, then I'll have to reduce the number of videos and probably do about 2 a week. And oh yes, comment below. I would really love to hear from you. What do you think? What do you think? You like my shirt? This has also become a series about my shirts, I think. So let me know in the comments below. What do you think? And if you want a private reading from me, there is my brand new email address below. You can shoot me an email, say I want a private reading, and we'll work it out with you. So, friends, yes, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.